Hey, everybody. We're going to talk about some things we learned in the Gold Cup, a tournament that had an odd roster and a fairly predictable result. We won a bunch of games against lesser competition, and then we got outclassed by Mexico in the final. I mean, you could have predicted that, I think. Got Chris and Vince here with me. What a
Hello.
pleasure. How are you
Hello,
guys?
gentlemen. It's
How
been
you
too
doing,
long.
man?
Doing well. Just been focused on, seeing what I could learn these past months from watching this team. I think the first thing I learned, is sometimes it's a good idea to lower your expectations. Because I was ready for total disaster this Gold Cup. It went great. Because
Okay.
I've lowered expectations. That was an outstanding performance by everyone.
What
Everyone.
did how much did the friendlies play into that?
Well, here's the key. I couldn't watch the friendlies live. And then I go and check the score, and I don't need to watch that. That also helped my mood. So I think I went through it in the right way. Let me give you the first thing I learned. I guess I already gave you the first thing. Let me give you the second thing I learned.
Yeah. Keep going, please.
Chris Richards feels inspired by the free kicks of Sebastian Berhalter.
Yes.
It's an emotional connection. Of service to that head.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong about that. It is an emotional connection.
It's because Sebastian, he sets his stance so distinctly and professionally. You're like, oh, this guy is definitely the son of Greg Berhalter. First of all,
the posture.
That's the third thing we learned. Make no mistake. If there were any doubts, no. This man was raised. Not only does he have a lot of Greg Berhalter's DNA in him, I think he was coached pretty much moment to moment on gamesmanship and professional type soccer stuff.
Yeah.
The posture is elite when he's standing there for those free kicks before he puts the hand up. I mean, you talk about straight up and down, man. Not a single hitch in that giddy up. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's standing over it like, hi, I am Sebastian Berhalter, supreme server of balls. And I think the Gold Cup commentators might have overhyped it just a little bit. At certain points, it's like, okay. But the thing is, right before, maybe like one or two free kicks before, the commentators might be like, oh, okay, we need to slow it down a little bit on this Sebastian Berhalter set piece mastery. He dropped you a dime.
Yep, that's right.
He dropped you a dime right on somebody's head. And
but for me, it was about that stance.
Yeah,
and I liked it so much to the point I was always a little bit sad when McGlynn took over that role when he would come in.
No, hold on, Watke. You probably didn't hear this, but on the Saudi Arabia review, me and Belz got into it a little bit just about the legacy of the Berhalters and them being multi-generational proponents of the black community and always helping to uplift black men. So the fact that you made this your first point, that Chris Richards is inspired by Sebastian Berhalter free kicks into the box, really tracks with what we were talking about in the Saudi Arabia match as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't think of it in those terms exactly, but now
I can only think of it in those terms now. And but there's one other terms I can think of it in, which is Chris Richards is the new leader of the team. He sees that Sebastian Berhalter is, and in his role as leader, he really appreciates people who uplift everyone. You know, black men, white men, all kinds of men. And so there is an emotional connection between these two men on the set pieces because Richard sees in Berhalter someone who is pulling in the same direction as him. And the prime example of that, I think, this isn't anything I learned. This is just me piggybacking off of you, Chris. the prime example of this is when Richard scored his goal against Mexico. I don't know if you guys saw this in the celebrations, but they're over in the corner where Richards had like slapped the flag, and Berhalter, he's not in the scrum. What he's doing is he's outside the scrum and he's welcoming everybody who comes down to the corner and pushing them in. So he's like, get in here, pushes them in, get in here. He gets Walker Zimmerman, somebody who's like way older than him, way more experienced. He's like, get on in here, buddy. And he pushes him in, I saw that and I thought, okay.
Yeah.
I see the
much
vision.
of his scrum work was incredible.
Yeah.
Really all celebration work. Like pre-scrum, he's gonna if it's possible, he's gonna be the first one in for the celebration. He will be.
He definitely will be. Now, I do got to give him one demerit on the Diego Luna dance after one of the Guatemala goals. I can't think of which one, but Sebastian is hanging off of Diego to a point to where he almost can't get the dance off. And it's like Sebastian, in that moment, you do need to read the situation and let your boy shine a little bit, because I mean, Sebastian is trying to drape himself all over Diego, and he can't even. It's you can tell Diego does a little wince when he has to do the little arm. He's bringing the arm up, and he's like, "Bro, Sebastian, you are on my shoulders, bro."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I did not prep for this with the right amount of lateral raises. To get my posterior delts in order to do this with a grown man hanging off of me. But Diego got it done. But
yeah,
he does need to clean that up just a little bit.
But
the enthusiasm,
that was his 1 week moment, and it was I wouldn't say it's a little bit uncharacteristic, because otherwise he seemed to be giving the amount of space for the player getting that celebration, but he did get that one wrong. I also liked, and I apologize, I'm going to be talking about Sebastian Berhalter way more than it's really appropriate for a podcast moving forward here. I liked when he missed the penalty. I liked his reaction. It wasn't I feel sorry for myself. Oh no, I'm embarrassed. There was no embarrassment in it. It was just, he just looked up. Oh, I got this. I made a technical mistake. That happens. And in his post-game celebrations, in this scrum, he leapt atop the scrum. The whole scrum was there. You don't normally see a missed penalty taker celebrate with abandon like that.
Yeah.
And it shows just a team guy.
A selflessness, an almost divine type of selflessness.
So I think everyone talked about, right, the sister almost crying.
It was sad. It was really sad to see that.
Almost crying when he missed. But I was impressed by Greg's reaction. Greg, hashtag the coach, still acting in that capacity. I guess he's, the father, hashtag, for the family or whatever. But, in moments like that, people are going to look to you, especially former coach of this very team that you're watching, your son up there taking a pen. Your daughter's going to look towards you. Rosalind's going to look towards you for strength at that point in time. And Greg moved on quicker than anybody else that was up in that box. Greg, of course you could see it. His face was pained. He was like, please, Sebastian, score this penalty. But when he didn't, Greg was like, all right, it's okay. It's okay. And that's the type of leadership you need. Fellas, I re-listened to both GeoPods this past weekend.
No way.
I sure did. I was cleaning up. I was cleaning up, and I listened to both of the Geo Arena pods we did. And this is just a furtherance of the leadership that Greg showed over in Qatar while everything was going to S word. Lifelong relationships breaking down. Players not the strife in the locker room, etc., etc. And he guided us through that, which garnered the famous tweet, of course. But this is Greg just showing that same resolve. And what arguably could be an even more emotional moment than anything that happened at the World Cup when you're dealing with.
Yeah.
This
is bigger than the World Cup for him now. Mm-hmm. Having Sebastian in play there, this is huge, and this has opened up a possibility. Mm-hmm. We could be looking at a storyline where we have a Berhalter and Reina at the next World Cup. Because Berhalter, he fits the role of a squad guy. He can, obviously Pochettino likes him. Why not have him as a squad guy?
He's a perfect squad guy. He's not. I just feel like it needs to be said. He's not really that good at soccer.
That's fine.
Okay. I just for everybody out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would take that Rodon role, no questions asked. No questions asked. I mean, and you can see every time he talks about it. Every time he talks about it, he's like, bro, I've been living this for, the last 10 years. And then, of course, even before that, he basically said he's been a big USMNT fan his whole life. So it's like, he's made for it. And I gave him the demerit on the celebration. Got to give him the +1 on the Saudi Arabia skirmish, where he jumped to Tyler's defense immediately, which is what got me started on the whole what I'll call Sebastian, man. What's the dude's name? Never mind. But what got me started on the whole rabbit hole thing that I talked about earlier.
But before we get too far away from Diego's dance, I do have this right here from the Corrections and Clarifications Department, which is his dance, which neither Greg and I knew what it was. It's a TikTok dance. The dance he was doing, it's a TikTok dance done by several people pointed this out, done by like a little boy who's at the front of speaking of crew, of a boat in I think it's in Indonesia, somewhere in Southeast Asia. And they're just going hard on these boat races. And there's a kid in the front standing there, not holding on to anything, doing the dance. And there's a lot of swag to it because it's like that boat's moving fast. He's got nothing to keep him in balance except his feet. And that's exactly the dance they do, the one that Diego was doing.
And I believe, or at least I've seen people say aura farming in the context of this video. It might be called aura farming, what that Indonesian boy is doing. I would encourage everyone to watch. If somehow you haven't seen these videos, definitely watch it. It's
pretty cool.
It's pretty good.
So aura farming is just a general concept.
Okay. So maybe that's why I was so cautious with what I was saying there, because I knew could potentially really embarrass myself. Yeah. Maybe this is just a great example of aura farming. This Indonesian boy is doing.
So aura farming is just basically doing things with the intention of looking very cool.
Yeah, Sebastian Berhalter's setup on his free kicks has a little bit of an aura farming thing to it. No,
it looks a little.
Here's the thing. I'm just out of Sebastian Berhalter notes.
No, this is good because the lesson was, if I remember correctly, he and Chris have an emotional connection on set pieces, but there's really more to it than that, as we've seen. Vince, why don't you give us your first lesson?
My first lesson. Do you want? No, I got it. My first lesson is we talk about growing the game a lot, right? And when we talk about growing the game, the number one thing is to optimize our opportunities to be in front of people, to be in front of the American public and whatnot. And I think we've made a mistake. We've prioritized the Nations League for the A team and whatnot when we should be prioritizing the Gold Cup. When you look at these numbers, these ratings that have come out, I mean, it's insane, right? I mean, Nations League famously behind a paywall, not on linear TV, not on any type of TV whatsoever. I think it's just been on Paramount Plus. Fox and the boost that we get from being on Fox, I mean, it's come through in the Copa America. It's come through in this last Gold Cup. I think maybe even started in the Gold Cup prior, I want to say. But the numbers, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Okay, I'm looking at Fox Sports PR, where they release all their good information about viewers and whatnot. So the finals in both of these tournaments, I mean, our final in the Copa America was our final group match against Uruguay. That got 3,777,000 viewers, maxed out at 4,867,000. viewers. Okay. And then we pull up to this final. And hold on. Oh no. Hold on. Okay. And then the final, USA versus Mexico, of course, 3.73 million viewers. The match peaked with 5.2 million viewers from 8:45 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time. And all I'm saying is, and actually the final ratings update was 3.84 million viewers and a 5.4 million viewer peak. They updated their own tweet. I don't know how that works, but anyway, what I'm saying is, if we want to get these boys in front of the people and showcase our team, then we have to do away with these B team Gold Cups. Maybe see that if we have to. No, I understand that a lot of the stuff was out of our hands, of course, for this tournament. But as far as a showcase and the fact of being seen in front of people, Fox is doing this thing, and it proved it with the Copa America. And maybe last year you would have just said, "Oh, it's the Copa America," but it's continued throughout this Gold Cup, and we're getting big numbers for every match. And even like the other knockout matches, we're talking about at least 1 million people, 1.2 million people, 2.1 million people, etc.
Yeah, which doesn't even take into account the
Spanish language.
Yeah,
yes, and the Spanish language broadcast does not take that into account at all. And those are huge numbers. I mean, those are like the biggest numbers for like any like American based soccer broadcast over the course.
Well, speaking of that, the Club World Cup didn't do nearly as good of numbers as the Gold Cup, right? Which I think has to do with the television station it was on, but the Gold Cup was. I think I saw that the Gold Cup outperformed the Club World Cup at least earlier on, like a couple weeks ago. It's interesting, yeah, because Nations League is. I was just rewatching the highlights from some of the old Nations League victories, just to like sort of refresh myself. And those were incredible games in incredible environments. 2021, Gio got a goal and an assist. That 3-0 win over Mexico when BJ was the coach in 2023. We got a late Pepe goal to tack on to Dos a Cero. But you're right, man. Was there a way to watch those games on regular TV? I don't know if there even was.
I don't think so. And they don't resonate in the same way, man. They just don't. Like I can tell when I'm perusing Twitter or whatever, I can tell what's break and contain. You know what I'm saying? Who are the regular that would be tuned into this match anyway, and who aren't. And really the only time, other than the Copa America is a special circumstance, but the only like regular USMNT happenings that have broken contain every time are the Gold Cup. It was the Gold Cup, and I don't know what the ratings were in 2019 or no 2020. Yeah, 2019, the last Women's World Cup, right? When we had the Women's World Cup final and then the Gold Cup final on that day. That one broke contain. This one broke contain. 2023 as well also broke contain. Like you can just feel it. There's different people talking about the USMNT who wouldn't usually be doing that. And I mean, being on linear TV, which is still like the grand poobah of TV. If you want something to get ratings, you got to put it on CBS, put it on Big Fox, etc. And also that Uruguay number came on FS1, by the way. But yeah, we need to put these boys on TV. Not behind.
I was just to reinforce your point. I was getting text messages from people who do not text me about the U.S. men's national team on Sunday night, saying, "Man, this USA Mexico game is crazy," or "Are you watching this?" And it's very simple. It's because it was on Fox.
Well, the highlight of it on YouTube also got 1 million views.
Huh.
Even the games against lesser opponents the highlights of this get a surprising number of views.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So people are interested in being interested in this team, at least.
Yeah, and I don't know what Fox does, how they do it, but I mean, yes, being linear TV has to be big thing, but it's like when you compare the in stadium, what we're seeing in stadium. Matter of fact, I was talking to my coworker that went to the Guatemala match, and asking him about his experience there yesterday before I left work, because I knew I was hopping on this podcast this morning before I went to work. I wouldn't be able to talk to him again. But yeah, I was like, man, what's going on, man? Like, how was it in the stadium? And he was like, yeah, man, it was just, it was Guatemalans everywhere. I mean, and as we knew, of course. But yeah, there's still like a glimmer of hope. Not everyone has given up on this team, I guess.
Yeah, most people are just playing with the idea of the team. So my first lesson is it comes right in line with this one, and it's this: there really is a little bit of a power struggle between Pulisic and Pochettino going on, and so I think Pulisic, if we want to get an A team at the Gold Cup, the number one culprit here is Christian Pulisic.
Mm-hmm.
I get it; he's got good reasons that he should take the summer off, but we're not like, especially when we're not doing the Monday review and it's just me and Greg mostly, we're not really tuned into the controversy and like the war of words that's going on. But I went back and I kind of like re-looked at it, and let me just break it down here. I know a lot of you know this, but look, Pulisic wanted to play in the friendlies, but not the Gold Cup. Pochettino said no. He said no. If you skip the Gold Cup, then you aren't playing in the friendlies. Then Pulisic, in his kind of whiny, passive-aggressive way, was on a CBS podcast, said that he respected the decision, but he, quote, didn't understand it, which prompted, I think in relative terms, Poch to just fire back, in relative terms to like what we usually see from our coaches and our players talking to each other. This was like a punch in the face from Poch. He said, players don't need to understand or not understand that. Players need to listen and stick with our plan. They cannot dictate the plan, because if so, then we'd invert positions. No, it is obvious. And the most important thing is that we explain. We explained why we decided not to include him in the two friendlies. And then if you have some problems, it's not a problem if you understand or don't understand. So he didn't like that. He didn't like that Pulisic said, I didn't understand. He has no time for that kind of talk. He also used the phrase, I'm not a mannequin. Poch did in response to this. I'm the coach. I'm not a mannequin. So there's actually something here. There's something going on between Pochettino and Pulisic. They're not happy with each other. Pochettino is certainly not happy with Pulisic. We still don't really know what Poch is thinking or how much he is thinking specifically about the U.S. men's national team. But I guess what I'm thinking is, if the point of the Arfston and Ajimong show is to establish his authority, reset the team culture, and get all the best players on side, fine. But I am a little worried. I'm a little worried about it.
We don't know what here's something we learned as well. The World Cup starting 11, it's not going to look like last time, and we don't really know what it's going to.
No, we have no idea.
Look like there's a range of possibilities.
See, that's one thing I told Belz, Watke, is that we have to start treating like, we're reviewing these Gold Cup matches, tongue in cheek or whatever. But no, we got to put some heft in our voice, act serious, because if the World Cup started tomorrow, Big Pat and Max Arfston would be out there, buddy. For better or for worse.
Richards, Berhalter, co-captains.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For better or for worse.
Yeah. It does. I mean, Pulisic has to show Pochettino something. I think they have to have some sort of meeting of the minds. And I have to credit Henry Bushnell for this, but there is a non-zero chance that we get like a Klinsmann Donovan type situation here.
This is the most extreme.
No, it's not probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen.
But it is on the spectrum of things that could happen with Pochettino.
Yeah,
and this group.
And I mean, I've long thought Pulisic has too much sway on the team, so I want him to be brought into check, and I want him to have to play within a system where his strengths are elevated and his weaknesses are minimized. And so I think it's great for him to have to submit himself to Pochettino's agenda. But
look, I mean, I don't think too much is going to come from this. Like ultimately, when we fast forward to September, Pulley's going to be there, probably going to start for South Korea and Japan, etc. But as long as we get him off set pieces, if this whole power struggle, everything that's been going on in the media or whatever, ends up with Christian Pulisic off of set pieces, then it will be. I'm gonna have to give a shout out to Poch for that.
Yeah,
been worth it. Pulisic's probably too good for this to end up impacting his place, but down the line through the rest of that 11, it's the Pulisic contingent. He's not going to have his first choice 11 out there. I think we can say that.
Right. And I don't. Who knows who his first choice 11 is? Do you have any ideas like who is in that? I mean, he likes Timmy out there.
It looks something like the traditional, Weston Adams. It's the Berhalter 11.
Yeah. Sargent is, he could be gone. He could be gone forever. We don't know that for sure either, but
yeah.
Who's
going to need to score a lot of goals?
Yeah, he's going to need score a lot of goals and really come in on fire with Poch.
He can't score a lot of goals for Norwich, by the way. This needs to be a top level club, top flight.
Yeah. The thing is, if he goes to a top flight club, do you think he'll score a lot of goals?
Remains to be seen. Look, man, after going to the Roma match and being like 2 inches away from declaring myself a Roma fan, I was hoping that would come through for Josh, because I think that would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Josh playing for Roma, I think he could have some success there as well. But it remains to be seen.
Yeah. Well, it's Chris's turn with the next lesson, I think.
Okay. We learned that Tim Ream, he does not intend to surrender his spot.
Yep.
And he might just be at the World Cup again.
It seems
incredible, because he was out of the picture in September of 2022.
21, yeah, 22, yeah.
No, 22. Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
September of 22, he was out of the picture. He was not there for Japan, Saudi Arabia.
It was actually a Richards injury that reopened the door for him, right?
And he was playing really well. He had a great open to the season. I don't know what we learned from that, actually, but he's still here. He's still here.
No, he sat Mark McKenzie on the bench. Thought maybe we had a Walker Zimmerman remontada on deck. Not sat him on the bench too. Miles Robinson also on the bench. All for Tim Ream, baby. So, I mean, we learned he's in front of those three, and those are. We don't got too many more center backs, man. I mean, CCV, you throw him in the mix, but who else we got other than that? So at this point, Tim Ream, World Cup starter.
We learned, I think, in part that if you participate in a stinker under Poch, you may never play again. Of the 11 players who started the game against Switzerland, or of the 10 outfield players who started the game against Switzerland, only 2 really played again. And those are Max Arfsten and Sebastian Berhalter. And they have, obviously have some special sauce with Poch. Everybody else, got a few minutes here or there, but really didn't play. McKenzie and Zimmerman didn't play. Zimmerman came on as a heading specialist. So, not participating in that game was probably the best thing for anybody in this camp that happened to anybody in this camp. And it does have to do with the Ream thing, because Ream came on at halftime, maybe kind of settled things down a little bit. I don't know. And then played every minute henceforth. Same with Richards.
And then another thing I learned, Matt Freese is our number 1.
Yeah.
Matt Turner's gone.
I've noticed that there's some thought out there that Turner still has a chance if he plays, but I see it your way, Chris. I think it's Freeze's job to lose now.
The mistakes have been a little crazy.
The Freeze mistakes?
No, the Turner mistakes have been a little too crazy to I don't know, to keep himself on the same tier with Matt Freese, because I've heard the same thing. People seem to be like, oh, if Matt Turner plays, he's right back in the mix. I don't think I'd want him right back in the mix. No. And number 1, and then number 2, if this Lyon deal goes through, which it has been confirmed that they will be staying up in Ligue 1, if this Matt Turner deal goes through, I am extremely scared for what could happen to Matt Turner, because Lyon, once again, I forgot if I've talked about it on the pod before or not.
But you should reiterate it. Yeah,
one of the most brash, audacious, daring, cunning teams when it comes to playing the ball out of the back in all of Europe. I watch soccer all the time, and there wasn't a lot of teams doing it like Lyon did last year. We watched quite a bit of Tanner Tessman. That double pivot of him and Matic would be in their own 6-yard box, both of them at the same time, quite a bit. They involve, Rondoing, man, tight spaces. I mean, you talk like I said, daring, brash, audacious. There would be moments where I'm sitting in my couch, I'm scared for them, and they're just as cool as can be. Like, hey, I'm gonna get out of this tight space. I'm gonna switch the play. All of a sudden, boom! There's tons of space for I don't know, Mikatase, Cherky, or whatever, whoever to run into. But they take risks. They have not made a manager change.
It doesn't seem like a good fit.
Why did they sign Matt Turner?
And they didn't.
Or why are they signing Matt Turner?
Well, it seems like the relationship between Crystal Palace and Lyon being that being Texter clubs or former Texter clubs. I think he's finding his way out of both. I think he's transitioning out of both clubs, I want to say, in order to keep them both in their respective competitions, Ligue 1 for Lyon and Europa League for Crystal Palace. But I think that's the main reason why that's happening. But if we get a month of Matt Turner being the starter and Lyon continues to play this way, I mean,
imagine the first time he tries to clip a ball out to Cherky, and he just flails it 40 yards off target.
Well, Cherky plays for Manchester City now.
Oh, dang it!
But but they did
Mikatadze.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cherky was perfect because he's such a subtle, elegant player, and to play with a guy who can't really pass the ball accurately is
it's going to be some compelling television.
Yeah, for sure.
For however long it lasts.
But Freeze is the number one. Freeze is the number one. Yeah. Well, go ahead, Vince.
Well, yeah, Freeze is the number one, and past me being a little bit scared for Matt Turner, what's going to happen at Lyon, I do think Matt Freeze has stronger plot armor than Matt Turner has or had, like, the fact the fact that he he goes to this penalty shootout against Costa Rica, right? And then it comes out that while at his Ivy League university, he did a research paper on pins. That I think that's just too much for Matt Turner to overcome. I think, like America, right? We love glitz, glamour. We want to be the best at everything. Here's a man that went to an Ivy League university. He looks like Superman. He also happened to do a research paper on penalties that while in college. I think that beats the normal everyday, hey, I'm just a dude that picked up soccer, was a former baseball player, went to Fairfield University, and now find myself starting at the USMNT. I think Matt Freese, the narrative.
Plus, he had the Sports Center not top 10 hanging over him, and we laughed it off. Mm-hmm. It's a fun little quirky thing. That was more of an albatross than we ever realized. You don't want that in your head.
Wait, what was it?
His not top 10. His low light from college. Okay. Sorry, yeah, Matt Turner.
Okay.
I think it was a problem. The whole time, and we didn't realize it until.
Yeah.
Now.
I'm unset. I actually think Matt Turner's a great guy. Seems like a great guy. Hope he has a bunch of success in life, and maybe he does end up being the number one. But one thing that unsettles me about him is how large his eyes are.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like he's scared or worried all the time, and I don't know if that counts as plot armor, but it's you need somebody who can narrow his eyes, and
it doesn't work in his favor. Like everything about him mostly gives you like lovable overachiever who probably shouldn't be here. Well, he shouldn't. Like, he took a very unconventional path. But Matt Freese, even though he is not flanked by the glamour of playing in Europe or anything like that, he is playing in New York though. But yeah, I think he's someone that the public will more easily get behind. I don't know. We love an underdog until it's time for. We love an underdog in the round of 64, right? In the NCAA tournament, when you get to Elite Eight time, you want to see the big dogs.
Yeah,
you want to see Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke. You know what I'm saying? I think
Michigan.
I think Freeze is more in that.
Yeah. All right, so Vince, you got the next lesson.
Tyler Adams reminded me why I was looking for Tyler Adams replacements throughout this summer. I mean, totally unremarkable, absolutely unremarkable summer from Tyler Adams. Like he was
anonymous. He was anonymous.
Yeah. I was debating whether I was going to say ass or not, but yeah, we'll leave it at anonymous. He was very anonymous throughout. I mean, this entire tournament and the friendlies, and it's like, him being one of the for sure A-team guys, and even more than that, an A-team plus, name and pin in the starting lineup or whatever. And did he look a step up in footballing ability from any of his cohorts in the midfield? Like, no. We were talking about a Sebastian Berhalter, or like, you know what I'm saying? It reminded me why I was hoping so much for Johnny, because people love Tyler. People love Tyler, and you receive a lot of pushback whenever you say, "Hey, maybe we can do a little bit better than Tyler Adams." People are like, "Oh, what? Better than Tyler? Are you serious? Look at how he tackles and whatever."
Yeah,
and I think a lot of I would like to hope that eventually we can do better than Tyler Adams. I'm not saying we can right now. I mean, look at the look at how Johnny Cardoso pee-pees and poo-poos all over himself anytime he puts on the kit. Unfortunately, as it stands right now. So I don't think his spot is like in danger or anything, but boy, he was rough, man. he was rough, and it just sticks in my mind. I'm not letting it go. Now, hold on. The one caveat I will throw out here before I just throw it out to y'all is just the fact that Poch told us multiple times that he was dealing with stuff, even like coming into camp. He was carrying something, and sat out a few training sessions or whatever. Did he miss one of the friendly matches?
He missed some. Yeah, I think so.
So he might have been carrying an injury throughout this whole tournament or whatever. But
that's certainly the message Tyler is communicating now. That like he just wanted to come in and be a good role model for the younger players and like gut it out. And there's probably some truth to it.
So what Weston McKennie was carrying an injury into the World Cup, and he was able to ball out due to him being a good soccer player. Despite having limited mobility and whatnot. Tyler Adams without mobility, bro. I mean, he's Will Trapp.
Yeah, I mean, I think his ball winning was still like an asset for the team, but when he jumps out of position in the 4-4-2 block against Mexico and for no reason, and allows Fabian Ruiz to pick up a 15-yard radius circle of open space on top of our goal to pick out a through ball for Raul Jimenez, then he's like he's really working against himself there, because that's where he needs to be locked in, absolutely reliable, very smart, making all the right decisions, because he's not, a magician on the ball. So if he's not a magician on the ball and he's positionally undisciplined, I don't know how much that has to do with fatigue, or dealing with a knock. Just stick to your assignment, bro.
Yeah. But this is just like, man, we playing Guatemala, we playing a bad Costa Rica, Trinidad, Tobago, Haiti. Like,
and he looks just kind of like he fits out there.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And what makes it even crazier is that he would pull out one, maybe two good turns and progressive moments in a match, and you could tell what it just did for our team in general. It's like, oh, Tyler Adams turned here, made a forward pass, maybe did a little 1-2, carried it into attacking third, and now the team's off and running. Like, oh man, how different this team looks now that Tyler Adams can do something for us. And but then it just wouldn't happen again. And so
it's not his comfort. It's not his comfort zone.
I'm still on the lookout. And now that his captaincy bona fides have been muddled a little bit, I've been talking about this for a while now, but now that Chris has actually stepped up and showed y'all what I was talking about. Remember, I said Chris could be the one that steps up, and I got some backlash. People like, he hasn't even played well for the national team yet. Look, man, some people prognosticate, okay, and look into the future and tell you what could or should or is going to happen, and other people look at the now and are left behind in the dust when those things come to fruition. So, you know what I'm saying? Just respect me, please. Thank you. I'm done talking.
I'm glad you mentioned Adams' handful of good things he did on the half turn, because I always appreciate those. I feel like I note him in the timeline.
I think there has been a leadership shakeup. I don't know if Adams is going to be able to reclaim that captain spot. He might not have the Poch.
Yeah, he don't got it.
They don't have the same type of juice flowing,
Richards with the 2 goals, and we'll get more. I think we could get more into that. Does anybody else have any thoughts on the Cardoso meltdown? What a bad deal for him. Like he makes. I mean, everybody saw it for 20 minutes. He's out there. He's got all the swagger. He's playing just like he does for Real Betis. And then
Cook it.
He makes a mistake and he's done. It's like yeah. You say pooping and peeing himself earlier? I don't know what the metaphor for it is, but he basically, and maybe he was dealing with a knock. Probably he had some kind of knock for real, but even if he didn't,
I think he was.
What a tragedy.
He slow played the Atletico move to be in the camp, right? Because we had that Club World Cup window essentially where he could have transferred to Atletico Madrid. He could have been at the Club World Cup playing with them. He slow played it on purpose in order for him to come with the U.S. men's national team and make his statement. And so because of that, I think he probably was injured, because I don't think, people said he had the Atletico-itis. I'm not sure that's the case, because if he had it, he just wouldn't have came all together.
Pulisic. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he was probably hurt or had a knock. But I mean, once you get the knock, then you're probably not in a rush to come back from it. But I do think he actually had a knock. But as far as his mental state and how he recovers from this, man, because I was hoping he would get a Gold Cup group stage to get his feet wet, knock all the cobwebs out his head, and start to feel good about himself. And that man played himself out of contention before we even got to the Gold Cup group stage. So to your point about the stinker, right? If you have a stinker in front of Poch, it didn't happen in that Switzerland match. It happened in the Turkey match for Johnny, unfortunately. But he was out of there.
Well, you can't go out there and do something that loses your team the game when you're the number 6. You just can't do it. So my next lesson is actually segues nicely with both the point about Tyler Adams and the stuff about Johnny. And it's about Malik. Because I think he's a contrast here to both of them in different ways. He didn't show he could seize a match against Mexico by the scruff of the neck, but he took, I would say, a big step forward as a men's national team player in a couple of specific ways. So you looked out there and you saw Tyler and you thought he fits perfectly into this picture. He's just like everybody else on the screen, or he's a lot like everybody else on the screen. You look at Malik out there, nobody has that thought when they see Malik in a game against Guatemala or Costa Rica. He's different. He has an extra level of class. And to borrow Velasquezism, sometimes he looks like he's on cheat code mode. Now, when you compare him to Cardoso, both of these players came into this tournament. You're hoping that they can establish themselves and build some confidence for themselves with the national team. And obviously Cardoso didn't do that. I would say Malik did. He got blooded fully in CONCACAF, had to play Costa Rica and Mexico, went 90 in heat and humidity 6 times in 20 days. His Eredivisie workload is typically less intense than that. He got hacked a lot. He had some success. He had some failure. And I think now he understands at least a little bit better than he used to what he'll have to do for the U.S. in international play. He, even more detailed here, he did serious and effective work against the ball in the press. So Sleepy Malik, he may still be in some ways, but man, does he love to take the ball off of somebody in the press. And he's not afraid to get physical. I think these are things worth celebrating. He flashed his quality. Yes, his best moments on the ball were against weaker competition. So I don't think, as Bob Morocco put it, he has beaten the flat track bully allegations.
He hasn't beaten the allegations, but he's built some confidence.
Yes.
And that's the first step in beating allegations.
That's facts.
Yeah,
that's
gotta believe in
you
yourself.
never admit, well, we don't need to get into how to beat allegations. But
never
no
admit
curse.
guilt.
There's no Malik curse. And I just want to remind you, I did stake my reputation on he would have a positive summer. And once again,
your reputation emerges gleaming.
2-0.
2-0.
I just want to, but I do want to bullet point some things that happened in the knockout rounds that Malik did. He keyed the move for the goal Arfston scored against Costa Rica. I mean, he made that goal happen.
Yes.
He got the assist on Luna's second goal against Guatemala. I wouldn't quite say he made the goal happen because Luna had a lot to do, but he did a lot to move that ball from right to left and put Luna in an extremely favorable situation. And I think, I hesitate to mention it, but he accidentally Cruyffed it to Luca de la Torre at the top of the box for the first goal against Guatemala. And in general, he was the guy most likely to disorganize the opponent with the ball, to use hashtag the coach axiom.
Mm-hmm.
Last point on Malik for me is he should also leave this summer hungry to show more of what he can do when the chips are down. He missed a penalty. He ball watched on Costa Rica's late equalizer. He gave the ball away too much in general, I think. And he didn't make enough. And he didn't make enough impact in the final against Mexico. So I think he will not be complacent going forward. And I'm going to take that as a positive.
Didn't make too much impact in the final against Mexico. Didn't make too much impact against Turkey, despite all of our good play, all the times we arrived to the final third. We were lacking Malik showing that quality a little bit. I've long been I've been slow playing Malik. I've been slowly coming on season by season. I think Peter Bosch has just done wonders for Malik. I mean, all this industry and stuff that we saw in this tournament. I mean, that's direct correlation from Peter Bosch. Those times and those Monday reviews that we covered when Peter sat his ass, he would sit him down, bro. Like if he comes out first half lollygagging or whatever. I remember one specifically against Ajax, I want to say, he would hook that man, and so he has him. He got him playing at respectable professional level, bringing it for 90, leaving everything out there on the pitch, etc. As far as because the moniker was earned at first. The man was sleepy, offensively and defensively. He would just kind of come alive when the situations kind of favored it, popped up, do something extremely nice, of course, and goal or assist or come from it or whatever. But
offensively, defensively, and in his bed at the wrong time of day. When the bus is filled up with his teammates ready to go to a game.
Yeah.
So the moniker was earned.
I think we've seen growth from the man, but I still got some questions. And they aren't questions that I don't think I think he's going to answer the questions. But until I still need to see him perform in the Bundesliga when he goes when he starts the season off with Leverkusen. I want to see him do it. There's absolutely no reason to think that he will not do it. But I need to see him ball out week in, week out.
It's going to be a struggle. It's a different ball. I mean, as everybody knows, it's a different ball game than the Eredivisie. I mean, those games are tough. You go down to Augsburg. You got all these
some big boys,
these German middle managers in the middle of the field, just coming after you. Like Malik's got Yeah.
This is a good situation he's in, though. Have the chance to do that every week.
This could be a better situation. I mean, good because Leverkusen is, put themselves up there with Bayern as like kind of PSV of the Bundesliga, if you will. I mean, they kind of run dudes out the gym. So,
yeah. You know who hasn't disappeared against Mexico? Typically, when he plays Mexico,
who?
Gio Reyna.
I knew he was about to say that. Yeah.
Oh, look, he may be on the fast track to Fort Myers, St. Petersburg, and retirement and everything. But who knows? Who knows what's going on with Gio? But you look back at how he's done against Mexico. He's done well. I think what is it? 2 goals and an assist in 4 finals or semifinals against Mexico or World Cup qualifiers. So he's played them 4 times. He's been decisive in 2 of them. And then in the one of the games where he wasn't decisive, the qualifier in the Azteca, I think he played was he the one who played the pass to Pifak that Pifak
yes,
missed from point blank, and he did that dribble through the entire team where he sat down Hector Herrera and started the clock on the end of his career. Sat down Hector Herrera twice on that. So,
I think that a resurgence is coming. Seeing Berhalter leapfrog him here has lit a fire under him.
Is that one of the lessons from the Gold Cup? Is that a resurgence is coming?
Yeah. Well, let me.
He doesn't want a Berhalter at the World Cup and not a Reyna. I'll tell you that much.
Let me tell y'all this. He hasn't beaten the is he cooked physically allegations. I just want to say
that is the
definitely
outstanding issue there.
That's why I brought up the West Coast of Florida.
The club of World Cup, the Club World Cup being a FIFA competition, we have top speed stats, and Gio Reyna was the slowest field for Borussia Dortmund by 6 kilometers per hour. He
Which
came
sounds
in at
like a lot to be slower.
He came in at 23.45 kilometers per hour, and Jamie Bino Giddens was at 29.46. He was slower than Gregor Kobel, the keeper. 25.71 Kobel was at, once again, Gio Reyna 23.45. Let me translate that to miles real quick. My Google machine, 23.45.
Remember, though, his thing is moving quickly, not fast.
Yeah.
Never fast.
Even in that, if I watched that dribble back, he just kind of looks like he's kind of loping around out there. It's not that fast.
I thought if he can lope around people like that, I was more than happy with it.
Yeah. Save the top speeds for the, other sports. But
people that play soccer on a soccer pitch, yeah, save for them.
Yeah, I mean it is like he has not beaten the allegations.
We need him to start running faster.
Yeah,
we do, man. There's just no way around it. I don't think. Now there's a way around it for the men's national team, probably. But yeah, if we want his club career to succeed over in Europe without having to go to Moldova, I think he probably needs to improve that just a little bit.
We really need a candid interview with Poch, like somebody to really talk to him. I mean, I don't care if it's in Spanish or not. Just translate it, after you're done. I mean, what is he really thinking about all this stuff?
We're talking 14.5 miles an hour.
I think he probably thinks similar to us that that's not very fast. He needs to run faster.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean about everything. Like is there a cultural reason you don't want to have a Pulisic decline to come to the Gold Cup and then be able to come to the friendlies? Is that like a?
Well, we
that a
are
thing?
likely after he's moved on and he's not. We'll probably get candid. He'll probably talk about it.
Yeah,
the candid way, which will be cool.
Yep, sometime in the fall of 26.
Gio would probably be the slowest offensive lineman at the NFL combat. I just did some conversions. I'm just letting y'all know, man.
Yeah.
I'm just telling y'all like how slow he is actually moving, bro. It's yeah.
I mean, those guys they move pretty quickly for big guys.
Very fast. People would be.
Dude, they're all faster than. Well, I mean, I don't know about Vince, but they're definitely faster than us, Chris, you and me. Vince, you may be really. You may have been a fast offensive lineman. I don't know.
Oh, I was. I ran a 4.9 at 6'3", 310. But anyway,
I don't think I can run a 4.9 40.
I remember my wife thought
you couldn't.
We were
definitely
working.
Couldn't run a 4. That's really fast, right? For
it's
non-athlete.
Fast. It's fast for anybody.
Adult.
Yeah, nobody would just step up to the line and run a 4.9 if you're not running regularly. But I remember my wife, like when we were in college, I was like home for the summer. We were like working out, and at the end of the workout, she's like, "Let's race." And I saw it in her eyes. She really thought she could beat me in a race. And like from the moment like we said go, like my start off the like, bro, she was dusted instantly. She's a college athlete as well, play college basketball. But yeah, people don't understand. I think it's starting to get out there more that linemen are very athletic, not just defensive and offensive linemen as well. But yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
we do want our soccer players to be faster than them, though.
Yeah, if we could help it.
Yeah. Is it my turn? Does anybody know whose turn it is?
I think it's your turn, and I think you can close us out. I'm out of lessons.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't have a third lesson, to be honest.
I just have a last. This is my last one. And we've touched on it a little bit, but lesson from the Gold Cup. Final lesson from the Gold Cup for me. Chris Richards is the man. You know, he is as the. I don't even want to do it. I'll refrain from trying to sound younger than I am. He's just
wonderful. He's him.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just wonderful to see him have a good tournament and be pretty dominant overall. He even played great against Mexico. He was so number one, totally dominant in the air. It may actually be appropriate now to call him Air Richards. You know, they've called him that.
Yeah.
This was a fake nickname when they first started calling him this. He was not that good in the air. Now he's just bossing. He's bossing the airspace. Like the Israeli Air Force.
It was Sebastian Berhalter who awakened that in him.
Maybe.
So whatever happens down the line with Sebastian, he's had an enormous mark on this national team.
Yep.
Yeah. And, you know, other than getting subbed off in the 87th minute of that 5-0 win over Trinidad, he's played every minute of the tournament. Tim Ream is talking about how he's barking at people. You know, Tim Ream is ready to give him those plaudits. Maybe because Tim sees like this is my ticket to the World Cup.
Hey, if we look at what came out of this, Richards emerges as leader.
Mm-hmm.
Malik gets some confidence that he will one day beat the allegations. This is a great summer. Just those two things. We have some more clarity at the goalkeeper position.
And all those players who think of themselves as A-team players, they now know who's boss. And the boss is Mauricio Pochettino.
The competition has opened. We didn't talk about Diego Luna much.
We didn't. We need to talk about him at least a little bit. What do you think? Has he helped his stock? Has he hurt his stock? Is he just
I think he's in the team. He's going to the World Cup. It's done. What do you think?
Maybe from the Poch point of view.
Yeah, for Poch, he's in there. I think.
Yeah,
He's
that's what.
Yeah. Okay. Then I agree. I just wish he wouldn't suck like 50% of the time.
That's facts, bro.
He's like I love the player. He scored some really nice goals. Both of those goals against Guatemala were like plus goals for me. But man, oh man, he gives the ball away so much, and he just like calm down a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe that's another addendum to my first point about getting these boys in front of people. We need to make sure we have. Look, I don't want to see too much. We want to make sure we have somebody that can capture the hearts and minds of the American people, and and Diego Luna is one of those people. How necessarily we end up? Maybe we do some focus groups before we fire it up for every Gold Cup. Just show people, pictures of soccer players. Do you resonate with him? But Diego Luna almost made in a lab, right? To be an overnight sensation, in America, and he became that, right? And I think was not a small. His presence was not a small contributor. I think it was a large contributor to this tournament picking up momentum in the way that it did. That's another thing about a tournament, right? It picks up momentum, right, as it goes on. I was just reviewing group stage numbers. We're in the 1 million range, and then it picks up. We start winning games. The narrative is forming. Everyone's feeling good. People are like, hey, let me turn on this USA team. Similar to the World Cup. We all see it there too as well. But yeah, the fact that we were picking up momentum, winning games, and then we had our mascot, our little trinket, Diego Luna, that people were able to fall in love with, and
he is almost built in a lab. Like you could imagine him at the Olympics as like a really good snowboarder with a charming story behind him, and they would make that up. I mean, they would make a lot out of that on the NBC broadcast, and everybody would be like, Diego, it's like that. And so, it's going to bring more people on board. Love it. I mean, it's a 26-man roster.
It's more than just bringing people on board, though. It adds some character to the team. That is a real.
That's true.
Thing.
Yeah.
It's a character piece.
Yeah. Yeah. People like Tim Weah, who are elegant soccer players and, probably has a fairly elegant life. He does not bring a lot of character to the team, He's reticent. He's shy. He doesn't, he's not very good at talking in public. I don't know that Diego is either, and Pulisic certainly doesn't add character. He just whines about how he doesn't understand stuff.
And Tim ain't worried about talking to the public. He's a statesman. He talks to politicians only. I don't know if y'all caught that. We saw what happened there. Tim Weah is a statesman, baby. It comes to talking to media and all that. I don't want to say maybe he sees it as beneath him, but he probably sees it as beneath him. So yeah, having an aristocrat probably doesn't resonate as well with the American people, but Diego Luna, he's the everyman. He's he's built like your stepfather. And he combines that lovable quality with the neck tats, etc. And then an attractive style of play on the field.
I agree with that. I'm glad you said that, because I think Luna can play better than he did in this tournament. And if Poch is dead set on bringing Diego Luna to the World Cup, I got no objection. I just want him to play better. That's it.
Me too. for what it's worth, I would like for him to play much better.
All right. Hey, so I'm really gonna do it this time. I'm going to put a Google form link in the show notes for you to submit a question for Tom Byer, because he and I are going to kick off the series on youth soccer here next week, and I'm really excited about that. Publication date TBD. Also, thanks for listening. If you want to join the Patreon and skip the ads, the link for that will be in the show notes as well. Anything else from you guys?
No.
Well, our next match is in Harrison, New Jersey, against South Korea. Belz, we talked about it informally. I'm going. Are you going, Adam Belz?
I'm strongly leaning towards going to it. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's one of our scuffed epicenters, the New York City area. There's going to be a lot of people there. Your old stomping grounds. Are you interested in going to visit an NYC?
Me?
Yeah.
It's not my old stomping grounds, Chris.
I'm probably not going to go.
Okay. Understood.
I mean, I didn't make it to Nashville.
Yeah, it's a little further than Nashville. That's all right. All right, yeah. So mark that on your calendars. I think it's September 6th, which is a day before Chris's birthday.
That's correct.
All right. Hey, thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you.